Welcome to the source. The source. Source. Hey, get the source.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all had a nice Tuesday night. I went 1-3 on baseball, and I won my first bet. So I was like, okay, nice. All I needed was 5 runs out of the Dodgers to put me in the green, and they could not deliver. We got Chris here. We got a lot to get to. We're going to go WNBA first, then MLB, then 2 NFL games, and then 5 college football games. And we got guests coming on and off the whole time. So a ton of bets to get through, a ton of games to get through. So without further ado, let's get it started. And we're starting with some Caitlin Clark basketball. 3.5-point dog here, CC. Do you take her?
I don't know, Kyle. I honestly don't know. I didn't take the side, man. I've been, I don't want to jinx myself, but I feel like I've been the Indiana Fever whisperer recently. I did call them, losing that game to the Lynx, the only game that they've lost in quite some time now. And, I called them beating the Connecticut Sun at home, when they were a dog as well. I like the total a little bit more in this game, Kyle. I like under one, whatever the top number is, 170. I don't know if it touched 179 or not, but 178.5 is what I saw earlier. I didn't bet it quite yet because I want to see how high it goes.
I see a 180.5.
Perfect. I'll take the under on 180.5. I'll lock it in after the show. But, it's for a couple of different reasons, man. This Fever team, while they have been top 5 offense, like since the Olympic break, they've looked really, really good. Like you can't take anything away from them. Kelsey Mitchell was hooping. Caitlin Clark, I think, won back-to-back Western the player of the week for the Western Conference. They look really, really good, but and they struggle defensively. However, the Aces offense is not quite clicking to me. They are clicking very well defensively, though. They've wrapped up over the last 5 games. They got a defensive rating, I think, of like 90, which is number 1 in the WNBA. So the second best defensive rated team over the last 5 games. The Aces also, when they're on the road and they're a short favorite, 5 points or less, happened 4 times this season. All 4 games have gone under, and they stand under by an average of about 16 points per game. So I know that the Fever's offense has been really, really good. I think the Las Vegas Aces offense, though, is not where I want to trust it at quite yet. So I think it's going to be I wouldn't say a slow-paced game, but I think it's going to be a defensive game. I think this game has a lot of playoff intensity to it. The Fever, like historically, do go over at home, but when they're favorite, 8-0 to the over when they're favorite, you look at them on the road. You look at them as a dog. They're 5-4 to the under, and actually 3 of the last 4 have actually gone under in this spot. So I think the Fever, but I like under. 180 points is a lot to get to in WNBA. So you just really need one poor quarter, and I think the Aces can lock them up here. I like under.
All right, under, and you can get a 180.5. Like I said, looks like most sportsbook do have it at 179. Are we frozen on the screen?
Yeah, but that tends to be temporary.
No, usually when that happens, they could hear us, but for some reason, it looks like the image is frozen. Hold on.
All right. See, it seems.
There we go.
Oh, we're back. Oh, okay. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, so did you? And the chat's working too, so we're good. All right. So he liked the under. You can get a 180.5, by the way, on Caesars right now if you want to tail that. So all right, let's go on and move on to the next game. Washington, Chicago, and Angel Reeseless Chicago. But haven't they won 2 in a row without her?
They have, but those 2 can be very deceiving here, Kyle. They beat the worst 2 teams in the WNBA. One of them being the Sparks, the other one being the Wings. Neither one of those. I think they combined may have. Let's see. Think about it real quick. Sparks got 1 win since the Olympic break against the Liberty of all teams. Caught them sleeping. And Dallas, I think, may have won twice. So they probably combined like 2 and 17 or something like that. So just take it with a grain of salt, their last couple wins. I think this is the game that we see Angel Reese's impact or lack thereof. She got a hairline fracture, so she's not going to be there. Also, Diamond DeShields, one of the integral role players off the bench, is not going to be there. They had to sign somebody through a hardship contract. And I think, when I think about Chicago, offensively, they can struggle. They're really, really challenged. And Washington can score the basketball. I don't have to, talk about this one too long, but I'm on Mystics first half here. I think the full game should be good as well. But I played the first half just because I can get it at plus money. Plus 104 is what I got it at. They've won 5 of their last 7 with outright wins as a dog against the Mercury, the Wings, and the Sky. And they've won, I think, 4 of their last 5 as a road dog, too. Like, this has just been a really good team. Look at them specifically in the first half, 14-3-1 against the number on the road. If they're a dog, 13-3-1 ATS. And this number just continues to come down. It was 4 yesterday. It's down to 1.5. I do think the Mystics are the right side. Since the Olympic break, they're averaging about 4 more points in the first half than the Sky are. The Sky are also the worst first half team since the Olympic break. They're -6 in point differential in the first half specifically. And I just think, the playoff implications. So you got, with the loss last night, with the Dream losing last night to the Lynx, Washington now sits 2 games behind the Sky for the last playoff spot.
Wow.
So if Washington wins this game, it's a double win for them because then they also beat the team that they need to catch.
Right.
So I love that. And
so Washington's playoff hopes are pretty much right on this game. If they lose, they're probably pretty much out.
On this game, absolutely. And I think they beat the Sky already 2 times in a row as well. I think what they're going to do is they're going to just spread, bring Cardoso out of the paint. She'll have to guard Big Mama Steph. Stephanie Dawson shoots the best from the 3-point line in WNBA. The Mystics should be able to move the basketball, create some turnovers. Sky don't really have too good of a ball handler outside of Kennedy Carter. So, yeah, I like Washington, specifically in the first half. But if they're losing, I may end up taking them full game. But I did play the first half.
I remember looking at it like a month ago, before the Olympics, even at Washington, the Mystics in the first half were like the best first half team. So, yeah, I remember the trend you're talking about. So let's go ahead and move on to Seattle on the road in LA. Seattle laying a couple touchdowns here, -12.5 on the road.
You talking about a toss away. I did not play this one. Just for full transparency. I mean, it's a really good spot for for the Storm, especially with them just having recent struggles on the road. Like they aren't even a positive ATS team on the road. I think they're like 8-9 against the number. They haven't covered a road game in quite some time. Outside of the one win against the Connecticut Sun, they are kind of rounding in the form. And you get a Sparks team that's on the second leg of a back-to-back. Granted, it's a home back-to-back, but it's the second leg of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, and they got smoked last night. They also completely eliminated from the playoff picture. They have nothing to play for. So if you wanted Seattle, you probably should have got on that 10. I wanted no parts of this game. I lean under just because I think that's, Sparks probably threw in the towels, probably 1-2-3 Cancun every time outbreak that they get when they're, in the huddle. So I guess I would lean under, but not a game that I'm really on. I think the Sparks team total stays under. I think it's like 74, 75.5, but I couldn't quite get there. The numbers didn't back it as much as I wanted to, but eye test tells me that Seattle can do whatever they want to in this game. And I think both games have gone over the total so far. So that also kept me off, but this feels like an under spot. Specifically, probably Sparks team total under 74, 75.5, whatever number you can get.
So an under or a Sparks team total under if you're trying to bet this disaster of a game.
Yes.
All right, let's swing it over to baseball. Chris, make sure you guys give him a follow. Thanks for joining, man. NBA's coming up, man. 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Yes, it is. Super excited. Yeah.
Yep.
Appreciate you, Kyle. Best of luck, fellas.
Yep, have a good one.
All right.
Modi, did you want to do baseball or are you just coming out for football? So how about this? You're in the background. Tell us what game you're ready to come on for a home run, and we'll bring you on. So you don't have to just sit here on camera if you only have... Modi's in the background. He says he has 4 home run picks. So give us a signal that you're ready to come on. All right. So if we will... Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, so open us up with a 3-person screen. I didn't realize that Modi was coming on for baseball also. So... Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I just realized they can't hear you guys. So Modi's in the background. He says he has 2 home runs for this game. So we're Modi originally was coming on just for football today, but he's got a few home run picks. So we'll bring him on for the baseball segment. He might pass on a lot of them, but who cares? Okay. Toast, you had a good baseball night last night, but not the ones I tailed. I picked the wrong ones.
What'd you tail?
I hit Baltimore, but then I lost. Oh no, that's right. I faded you on the Cardinals, and then Dodgers team total over. I lost, even though that wasn't even a direct tail of yours because you said Dodgers run line it over.
You should
And
have got the Dodgers.
I know that was. I watched the end of the game too. It was the guy made a crazy catch in the outfield.
He made 3 of them. The one that you saw, he made 2 other ones just like that, very similar. That all saved.
Is that Peter Crow Armstrong?
Crow Armstrong, PCA, yeah.
Yeah, that guy's insane.
PCA, they call him. That's sick. And then also the over in Arizona, Texas. I lost.
That was like the one game I was just like dead wrong. I mean, clearly the curse is real, but I just.
All right, so Modi, why don't you kick us off here? You said you got a double dong. Do you want to do the dong song?
And it makes you feel down. And it makes you feel down. And it makes you feel down. Down.
All right. Oh.
Yeah, so what happened was I actually clicked on the one from yesterday. This is the one from today. There
we go.
Let me just move that little restream thing down, and you guys will be good to go.
All right, now, so without further ado, Modi has 2 home runs in this game. Lay it on us.
Yeah, all right. So number 1 is Bryce Harper. This guy, he's been flirting with a home run for the past like 3 games. And just has been getting incredibly unlucky. He had one called back yesterday due to fan interference, which, so they called it initially a home run, then they immediately changed it to a double, and then they reviewed it. I think if they had left it as a home run call, I think that would have stood. It's like one of those you see in the NFL, the call stands, not the call's confirmed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that's what would have happened with the home run. Annihilated it, 106 miles per hour off the bat. And then he had technically a single on what's that? I guess that was Monday's game that he hit at like the top of the outfield that he thought he thought it was a home run. So he pimped it a little bit. So he didn't run it out. So only got a single. Another one that was 100 plus miles off the bat. He's been hitting the ball really, really hard. Just has been getting really unlucky with the home run, which I just don't think is going to continue. I'm not like Shane Baz isn't terrible. I'm not necessarily scared of him. Against lefties, allowing a home run every 22 and a half at bats, which is fine. It's not amazing. It's not terrible. Home run per 9 of 1.38. He throws 4-seam fastballs about 50% of the time. Bryce has not been able to hit any off-speed stuff basically all year, but the fastball and stuff has been fine. So he was my first one.
Harper.
The second one is sorry, did you say something?
Yeah, Harper. Bryce Harper is the first one. You said Bryce Harper, right?
Yeah, I got him at plus 440. I don't know what the most current odds are.
I'll look it up. You keep going. I'll look it up.
Okay, so yeah, Bryce Harper. The next one I have is Brandon Lowe. I love Brandon Lowe. He's one of my favorite guys to bet home runs. He hit one two nights ago off of the Phillies reliever Estevez. And Zach Wheeler, I mean, you guys have talked about it a ton, so I don't need to explain to you, but he's not nearly as good against left-handed hitters. He's allowed 17 home runs on the year. 12 of them have come against lefties. Home run per 9 of 1.22 against lefties on the year, which is still decently good, but it's not like the 0.53 against righties. And in the last 2 months, he's allowed a 12.5% barrel rate and a 50% hard hit rate to left-handed hitters, which are 2 pretty concerning numbers. And then for Brandon Lowe, he's not someone that if you look at his hard hits, is like the most impressive thing in the world. But the pitches that he has hit hard all align with the pitch mix of Wheeler, which is mostly fastballs, 12.5% barrel rate, 70% hard hit rate against 4-seamers from right-handed pitching in the last 2 weeks. And then from there, it's like curveball, cutter, splitters, all like between 10 and 20% of the time. He's hit those hard as well. So yeah, Brandon Lowe, I think it's solid. I got him at 470. Harper, I got at 440. And those are the two that I have.
Okay, so the Harper number is gone. It's 370 now. But
370? Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. But I only have I only see 3 sportsbook on here, so maybe I don't know. Maybe you can get better somewhere else. Brandon Lowe, you can still get that number though. In fact, I see a plus 480 for Brandon Lowe, so you can still get the Brandon Lowe number.
Even better.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Toast. What are your thoughts? Plus 200? Is that too steep?
I played. I kind of went square, but I really like it. I played Philly and Houston moneyline parlay.
Ew, dude.
Yeah, I mean, but you said about the Phillies last night, and it was like one of my biggest winners. So
yeah, but you didn't even deserve
too
it.
much stock into it. Really? Because I thought the Phillies bats would explode.
It was like tied in the 8th inning.
I don't know how that's different. The Phillies bats exploded. I didn't know that Ranger Suarez was going to get fucking annihilated by death by 1,000 paper cuts. I didn't know that. That is true.
12 hits.
That was ridiculous.
So
I don't even know what was going on. But
Phillies Astros money line parlay, you said.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I do love that Harper play, though, because he has been absolutely on fire. I've been playing his total bases like every day by myself. Over his last 5 games, he has like, I think 10 hits or something like that, 5 of them being doubles. So the fact that he hasn't hit a home run lately is just absolutely crazy. But like I keep saying, the Rays are dead, and I stand pat on that. I know they scored 4 runs yesterday. If they can do that again here against Zach Wheeler, so be it. I think that Zach Wheeler's pitching extremely well. I mean, he's had his couple little blow-ups, but again, over his last 7 starts, you're essentially getting 6 or 7 innings of 2-run baseball. If he does that here today, I think the Phillies win the game, and we'll talk about Houston later.
All right. Someone's saying there's a Hard Rock boost to take the Rays today against the Phillies. Next up, what's the next game, please, Prop Beaver? Do you have anything for this game, Modai? Because we have it set up for 2 people. Okay, Modai's nothing, so just keep it me and Toast for this one. All right, next up is Rockies Tigers. The GOAT's pitching.
I know.
But you can't take...
He looked really shaky, though, so...
You can't take KC at minus 190.
I know, that's the problem.
You can't do it.
Again, I feel like a broken record with this Tigers team, but again, the 13-7 their last 20, 6-4 their last 10. They had a couple losses to the Padres, which it seems like everybody's losing to the Padres right now. They had a loss against Oakland and Boston, but besides that, again, this team just continues to roll. They had Kiter Montero pitching a perfect game halfway through the game yesterday. Again, do I think that Detroit wins this game? Yeah. Do I trust Casey Mize at a minus 190 price or whatever the run line is? No, not at all. But I don't think that Detroit loses, but am I willing to pay that price? Not a chance.
Yeah, there's no way. Next. Anything for this one, Modai? Braves, Nats? Nope. Okay, Braves, Nats. We got Max Fried against Jake Irvin in this one. What kind of price are we looking at here? Braves won convincingly yesterday. What was it, 12-0?
Yeah, finally got to Mackenzie Gore. They solved the riddle.
I thought the trend in that, though, was Mackenzie Gore in Atlanta. Is it just against the Braves period?
It was just against the Braves. He had really good numbers overall. But yeah, I think this in Atlanta thing probably still can roll a little bit. But this one, I don't really know what to do with this one. My first thought was over. It was 8.5 earlier today. It's now 8.
You can get 7.5. There's 2 7.5s this open.
Holy cow. So clearly I was wrong there. I'm just not at a point where I trust Jake Irvin. Jake Irvin, very similar to Mackenzie Gore, and he has 3 starts against the Braves this year. He's looked really good in all of them. 17 total innings, only 2 runs. 11 hits. I mean, really, he's been pretty good against this team. I will admit that I think the Braves are playing better right now than they have when they had seen him. But again, this Braves team is another one where it's kind of hit or miss. They can look really good one day. They can look really bad another day. Jake Irvin has not looked good over the last month or so. He had a good start against Baltimore and a good start against this Atlanta team, but Pittsburgh, the Cubs, the Giants, the Brewers, the Phillies all got to him pretty easily. 6, 7, 8 hits in all of those guys. And now he's going up against a guy in Max Fried who on the road, I will give you, it's definitely been a lot more shakier. Is that a word? I'm not sure.
More shaky or a lot shakier?
Yeah, I was going to say it didn't sound right when it came out. That's for sure. But regardless, his last 4 road starts at Philly, Minnesota, San Francisco, and Colorado, mediocre at best, essentially going 5 to 7 innings, giving up 3 runs. There's no real dominant performances there. So again, I thought that the Braves could score a couple. I thought that Jake Irvin would give up, or Max Fried might give up a couple to this new look Nats offense that just got shut out yesterday. But previous to that, 3, 8, 5, 4, 6. They were scoring some runs. So I thought there was runs. The fact that it's at 7.5 now means I'm clearly missing something. So the fact that it's at 7.5, I would lean with the Nats at a plus price. If runs are going to be at a premium, I would like to take that plus money, but I just can't get there.
Yeah, This ballpark is towards the top in run index today.
I know. That's why.
Why is it being bet down?
I like I said, I must be missing something. I don't know what it is, but I must be missing something because this was at 8.5 when I woke up this morning, like 3 hours ago.
Right. All right.
So
next game.
if Jake Irvin pitches well, then the Nationals have a very good chance.
Yeah. Royals, Yankees. Royals came through for you yesterday too. You called a lot of shit in the comments for that one too. People were talking shit to you for that one. Yeah. People did not like that Royals pick yesterday.
All you keyboard warriors, get up going now. Royals first 5 money line, right back to it. What do we talk about with the Yankees? They can't hit left-handed pitching. And what's going on now? We got Cole Reagans versus Luis Hill, who Luis Hill looked good against, had himself a nice little Sunday start against the Cubs where he looked good. But previous to that, let's not forget that he went on the road and got shelled by the White Sox. Cleveland got to him over 3 innings. He looked decent against the Angels. Who doesn't? I'm just not at a spot where I think Luis Hill should be this big of a favorite against Cole Reagans, making one of the probably the bigger starts of his season on the road in Yankee Stadium, coming off probably his worst road performance of the year on the road at Houston, where he went 5 innings and gave up 5 runs. He did strike out 10 guys, but previous to that on the road, Cleveland, Minnesota, and Detroit, all 3 of those teams passed the smell test of good teams or not, and he pitched really well. 5 2/3 against Detroit, 7 innings against Minnesota, only 4 innings against Cleveland. But I talked about this over and over again when the Yankees played the Nats a couple weeks ago. I've talked about it when they've seen other left-handing starters as well. They're just not as good as a team versus left-handed pitching, and they struggle to score runs. So now I have a Kansas City team that I continue to make money with over the last week or so after that Minnesota series. I have no reason not to take them here in the first 5. So we saw multiple guys yesterday score runs for the Royals. I have no reason to believe they can't scrape a couple across here today. And again, like I said, the Yankees versus left-handed pitching is not a team I'm going to bet on right now. So I don't want to deal with the bullpen situation with the Royals because I don't trust either Yankees or Royals bullpen. But I'll take Cole Reagans at plus money in the first 5 for sure.
It looks like they've come around because our viewers are leaning we're polling towards the Royals here, 45%, 32% towards the Royals. So viewers are on KC in this one. I'm not betting it.
I guess really quickly, the Yankees versus left-handed pitching. Andrew Heaney blanked him. Mackenzie Gore looked really good. Your boy Patrick Corbin went 6 scoreless against him. Mitchell Parker looked really good. Kyle Freeland looked really good. The only person they really got to was Austin Gomber in the last couple of weeks as far as left-handed starters are concerned.
All right, next up, Baltimore-Boston. Anything, Modai? All right, let's get Modai up for. He said, and I quote, "I'll be quick about it." Let's hear it.
So, I haven't played these a ton, this market, but it's the either or home run market on DraftKings, and Gunnar Henderson or Santander, either one of them to hit a home run.
Oh, so if either hits the home run, you cash?
Yeah,
correct.
It's like the new market this year.
Yeah, I honestly haven't played it a ton. I probably should have looked into it more, but plus 220 on either Gunnar or Santander to hit a home run. Gunner's kind of like Bryce, and then he's been flirting with the home run for days now. And yesterday wasn't great, but the past couple days he's had he was robbed by Jose Siri on Saturday. He hit like a 389-foot double either Monday or Sunday. So he's been hitting the ball really well. And then that's on DraftKings, by the way. And then Santander hit one on Monday. He did not hit one yesterday, but he had like 100+ miles per hour off the bat. And then Pavetta isn't terrible, but he's also not great either. And I just kind of think both these guys, they got two stolen from them from Cedric Mullins yesterday. So I feel like they're going to go yard today. But yeah, 220 I thought was a pretty good price, and I hit that for a half unit myself.
This is the bet that I tailed from Toast that hit yesterday, the Orioles money line, and it's Pavetta in Fenway. So I'm inclined to do it again.
I'm leaning that way. I haven't bet it yet. My issue is the splits. Dean Kramer really struggles versus lefty bats. 317 WOBA, 469 FIP compared to a 276 WOBA against righties. He's got a 422 FIP against righties. Isn't anything special, but that Boston lineup, Duran, Devers, Abreu, Yoshida, Casas, all lefties. A little bit scary, but again, like I keep on talking about, I don't trust this Baltimore offense at all to save. I mean, they cannot score runs to save their life. I'm checking to see what the number is right now. I was waiting on Baltimore because I feel like that number is going to continue to go up just like yesterday, and it is still creeping up.
We're pulling
it's still-
70% Baltimore to 16% Boston.
Yes, the number keeps on going up, but it seems like Baltimore is a heavy public dog as well. So I think I'm going to end up passing on this one. But I do feel strongly that Boston shouldn't be this big of a favorite against anybody. But at the same time, Pivetta has pitched well against Baltimore in his career, going back to 2022. Really, really good numbers against them. And he actually, to be honest, Pivetta hasn't looked bad. He had one bad start in Houston on the road. But we all know, I mean, that you've alluded to, we like Pivetta on the road way more than we like him in Fenway Park. But a decent start against the White Sox in Fenway, a decent start against the Seattle in Fenway, where he gave up 3 runs, but he struck out 10 guys. So I think my gut tells me Boston wins, but there's no chance in hell I lay minus 140 with that team. So it's just going to end up being a pass.
Oh, yeah. Pivetta, I fuck with Pivetta away from Fenway.
Yeah,
the farther
100%.
away, the better. I mean, if the Red Sox played a road series in the Pacific Islands, I would hammer Pivetta. That's just a lot of miles away from Fenway.
Not that, like, I mean, there's parts of this that might be true and not true, but there's a reason that over his last 7 starts, 5 of them are on the road. They try to make sure that he pitches on the road as much as possible.
Yeah, and for good reason. That ballpark, he wakes up screaming, picturing that ballpark. All right, next game. Next game is Angels Twins. Anything for this one, Matt? All right, cool. Angels Twins. Oh, it's your boy, Toast Kakanowitz.
Go.
Toast is a Kakanowitz apologist. He's a big-time Kakanowitz guy. I
am. I will say I did take an L his last time out against the Rangers, but really didn't mind what I saw from him. He threw one bad pitch to Adolis Garcia, and for the first time all season, Adolis Garcia made contact with the ball and it went far. So congratulations to Adolis Garcia for finally doing something this year. But I'm going right back to the Angels. Angels first 5 money line at plus 165. I keep telling you guys, I feel like this Angels offense has turned a corner a little bit over the last week. 5, 6, 4, 4, 5, 1, 10 since playing that Dodger series. And Zebby Matthews is a guy that really has looked decent against 1 or 2 teams, the Royals and St. Louis, but the Royals came back and got him really, really bad for 9 hits and 4 runs on the road. He had a really bad start against Toronto at home where he didn't even make it 2 innings. He gave up 10 hits and 9 runs. Again, I just think that this game is more of a coin flip, and you're giving me the Angels at plus 165 in the first 5, an Angels team that we just saw them. I mean, I understand that the Twins won the game, but they scored 5 runs off of Pablo Lopez. I mean, Zach Neto hit a ball 500 feet off that bump. So, I mean, our team total over 2.5 was never really even in question. So I have no reason to believe that the Angels can't score a couple runs off of here. And if Jack pitches somewhat decently, at minimum, this is a coin flip, and I'm getting plus 165.
Yeah, I mean, in what world is Z Matthews a minus 200 favorite?
Especially considering the fact that the Twins are not scoring runs. They had 10 runs yesterday, but that was an absolute fluke.
It's 1-0 Toronto, by the way. Manaya's got 2 guys on in that game.
Fucking every time I trust this piece of shit.
Next up.
Every time.
Oh,
there's a
shit.
reason.
Big Lance?
Yeah, dude. Hey,
don't we have DeGrom tonight too?
Tomorrow or Friday. Thursday or Friday.
Reds versus Big Lance. Wow, B. Williamson versus Lance Lynn. This is a throwback game here.
Yeah, it is. I really, really want to play St. Louis, but I can't pay minus 140 with them. Don't look now. And it's been a while, but before Lance Lynn was injured, he was pitching fine, if not better than fine. He over his last 7 starts, he hasn't pitched in 2 months. Remind you that. But he had a terrible start in Washington where he gave up 10 runs in 2 innings, but 5 runs against Texas, 5 runs against Pittsburgh, the Cubs, the Reds, Atlanta, and then a bad start against Miami. But he was pitching just fine. So I don't really think that Lance Lynn's going to pitch bad here today. Brandon Williamson is another guy that, again, I don't really know what to think of. But at the same time, when you flip it over, let's just call the starting pitching a wash. And if you flip it over to the bullpen, there's going to be some concerns for Cincinnati. Not to mention, Diaz has went 2 of the last 3 days, but him and Cruz didn't work yesterday, so they're good. But Pagan, Sandlin, Wilson, all 2 of the last 3 days. They saw Sutter. The Cardinals saw Sutter yesterday as well. And then as far as the Cardinals bullpen, they're all rested and ready to go. I think the Cardinals win this game, but I don't know if I can pay minus 140 to see it with how decent the Reds have been playing. I mean, don't look now. The Reds are 7-3 their last 10. They had extra innings lost to the Mets, and then a Mets start where they didn't show up on Saturday. But besides that, they're playing really good baseball right now. So it's really hard to fade the Reds right now, especially with the way that St. Louis is playing. But I do think that St. Louis probably wins this game. Again, am I going to pay minus 140 to see it? No.
I think the sharp play in this game is to go with the under. It opened up at 8.5, juice to the over. Down. It's now been bet down to the 8. On Ballpark Pal, Busch Stadium, minus 13% run index. It's the worst on the board by far, minus 29% home run. So it's really shitty weather for scoring runs, heavy winds blowing in. And with these two pitchers on the mound, I think a lot of people are like, oh, these guys suck. And the number's still getting bet down. So I think the sharp play would be an under here, right?
I would 100% agree with that, yeah. Especially, yeah. I would probably do first 5 personally, but yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Just because of that Cincinnati bullpen, those bastards.
JP Sears, it says, didn't he pitch yesterday? Did he not pitch yesterday?
Yeah, he did. It's Joey Estes now.
Oh, it's Joey Estes now. Okay. So the graphics are wrong. Okay, so it's Joey Estes.
It's not the graphic person's fault. The A's have been changing starting pitchers the last couple of days.
Yeah, well, I remember it happened while we were on the show yesterday.
Oh, yeah. So that guy called us out because we didn't know
it's like, how do you guys not know who's pitching? He actually commented after. He was like, I was just messing around, though. Anyway, Oakland on the road at Houston, Hunter Brown. Estes. Isn't Estes been pretty good?
Yeah. Yes. There's no ums about that. Yes, he's been good. I don't think that they win this game. I think Houston wins this game. Like I said, I have Houston and Philadelphia moneyline parlays. Just Hunter Brown's dominance, not only his dominance in the second half, or actually after his first few starts of the season, over his last 7 starts. But over his last 7 starts, he's been really, really good. He had 1 bad start at home against Pittsburgh, but besides that, fantastic against Texas, Boston, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Kansas City. Not to mention the fact that he's faced this Oakland team 4 times in the last 2 years. It's pretty much going 6 or 7 innings, and all those at worst giving up 2 runs. So on top of the fact Joey Estes has faced this Houston team just once this year, on the road, just like he will be today, went 3 2/3, 8 hits and 8 runs. I think Kyle Tucker hits a home run tonight. I think the Astros win. I think it's an Astros night. The Astros lost yesterday on 3 or 4 straight bunts because Hector Neris can't field his position. I just don't think that happens again tonight.
All right, next game. Ooh, we got the NFL coming up on the ticker in the bottom left. But next up is Padres Mariners. The Padres got it done in a major way.
Sweat free.
Brian Woo's on the mound, and I already can tell you I don't like it. Why? Why don't I like it, Toast? Because the Padres.
You like Brian Woo?
Well, in this spot, because the Padres got a lot of lefties in the lineup. I don't fuck with Woo against lefties. Woo against Oakland. Woo against a lineup of even Houston. Lineup full of righties. I'm down. I'll get down with Woo, but not against lefties. Would only be Padres here. It's definitely square though at the price.
Yeah. I don't love the Padres like I loved them last night. Today. So again, this is really hard. This is actually the hardest game on the board for me to cap. Not because they're my 2 teams that I watch a lot, but at 2 starting pitchers that I think, you can make the case about both of them. Michael King can give up a lot of hard contact at times. And again, he's very, very good, but the Mariners are all kind of hit or miss. So again, if they're hunting pitches early, I can see them probably getting some home, possibly, because it's going to be all or nothing. They're either going to get some or they're not. Like we saw last night, Mariners home run balls, but nothing else in between. I don't, there's just something that tells me I don't like the spot for the Padres. Manny Machado won with his milestone home run last night. Tanner Scott and Jason Adams have now worked 2 of the last 3 nights. All 3 of the top arms in the Padres bullpen worked heavy usage yesterday. They're still going to be available because Schulte doesn't care about that stuff. But I actually think that the Mariners are kind of the side right now. I don't know if I can bet that, but I really do think that the Mariners are the side, unfortunately. I don't know why. It's just a gut feeling. Like I said, I went back and forth on this game.
So that graphic's wrong on the screen. Talk about people. He said Mariners.
It doesn't really matter. If you listen to what I had to say, we're good.
Yeah. All right. Next game. Last game. Oh no, two more. I'm sorry. Colin Ray versus Blake Snell. They keep giving Blake Snell at some really affordable prices here. I played Blake Snell as a minus 145 favorite, I believe, a couple starts ago, and it won for me. Get out. Get over his head. Right to him. Mets. The Mets, that's 2 hard hit balls right in a row, right to the right fielder.
We're winning this game. We're winning the game. Mets are winning. That's all I know. As far as this one's concerned, I don't know what to expect from Blake Snell. So for me, it would be holy shit, Arizona's up 5-0. Hell yeah.
Where were those runs last night? Well, actually, they did their part last night.
Yeah, I was going to say that's true. I went right back to the over at 8.5 again. If Blake Snell is gets full usage, then I would say, let me see what the price is actually first. I would say San Francisco first 5 run line, because I do think you would have a big starting pitching advantage. The issue is with Blake Snell is that 2 of his last 3 starts, he hasn't made it into the 4th inning. And if that's the case, then you're really putting your hands into a San Francisco bullpen that is absolutely god awful. So it's really hard. Again, I really want to bet San Francisco first 5 on the run line. That's what I really want to bet. Colin Ray over his last 5 starts hasn't looked good. He got hit up by the Dodgers, then came back and looked decent against Cleveland. And then Oakland and Cincinnati both got to him. And then he only went 4 innings against St. Louis and gave up 4 hits and 2 runs, walked 2 guys, just really hasn't really looked good. And he also has a terrible history against the Giants. Last year, he started against the Giants twice, went 12 innings, gave up 7 runs on 9 hits. Just not a lot of success there. Yastrzemski has really good numbers against him. Lamont Wade has really good numbers off of him. Again, I think the Giants have a huge advantage in the first 5 of this game. But again, if Snell goes out there and Milwaukee makes him pitch and he's up to 45, 50 pitches in the 3rd inning, you might not see Blake Snell in the 4th and the 5th inning. Like I truly don't know what to assume with him. I mean, his last start, he pitched 42 pitches and he didn't come out there for the 2nd inning. So it's not like, again, I don't know what to get out of Blake Snell. It would be Giants first 5 run line or pass.
All right. Last game. Cubs, Dodgers. Oh, bring Modai back up. He's got a dong in this one, he says.
I missed it, but I have Jordan in that game too, which I missed it, you guys. Game? Yeah, I had Jordan, just so people know.
All right, so Cubs, Dodgers, Bobby Thriller. Unreal. Actually, we removed the Bobby Thriller name. It's now Bryce Thriller. But I'm not. Bobby doesn't.
He gets his name correct when he's good.
He's just Bobby Miller now, and Bobby Miller isn't a guy I like. I liked Bobby Thriller. Who's hitting a home run here, Modai?
Yeah, so I took Ohtani. You guys might have heard of him, Shohei Ohtani, to hit a home run. He's 320 at Bet365. He should almost never be in the 300s. I get why. Like the logic. It actually does make sense. He's lefty versus lefty matchup, and he's going up against Jordan Wicks, who has not allowed a home run to a lefty this year. But it's really a tiny sample size. Like since he came back from the injury, it's 19 at bats against left-handed hitters, and the lefties are hitting 316 off of him with like a 47% hard hit rate. So it's not like he's been unhittable. And Ohtani also crushes left-handed pitching. Like in the last week, the last 7 pitches that have left the bat from Ohtani against a lefty. Some pretty good pitchers too, like Imanaga, he just annihilated yesterday. 95.7 miles per hour off the bat, 99.6, that was a 374-foot flyout. 110, 96.5 miles per hour off the bat. 101.2, that was a 348-foot flyout. He had another one, 99.5 miles per hour, 394-foot flyout. And then lastly, 111.2 miles per hour, 413-foot home run. Again, those are the last 7 pitches that have left the bat of Ohtani against a left-handed pitcher. So like 320 is just too high for someone as good as Ohtani, even the lefty versus lefty, even with the guy that's never given up a home run to lefties on the year. I think that's just like that stat's a little bit small sample size noise. So 320 for Ohtani, I think, is crazy.
I've actually heard a lot of people saying that Ohtani against lefties has been the bet because it just gets priced as if like, oh, he's not.
And then it's also like he could have one or two at bats against the bullpen. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's not just like it's gonna be a lefty.
They're over adjusting for it. I get it.
Yeah.
Toast, anything in this one?
There's only one lefty in the Cubs bullpen, which is good too. If you do get to the Cubs bullpen, Dodgers team total over 4.5 at minus 115 and over 9 at plus 100 for half unit. I have a full unit on the Dodgers team total over 4.5. I don't think that Jordan Wicks is good at all. We know that this Dodgers team, especially guys like Shohei and Mookie and Freddie and Will Smith and Tommy Edman, all can hit left-handed pitching. And Jordan Wicks, who has been pretty decent, I will give him a lot of credit. Really, really bad numbers against lefties this season. 328 WOBA, 169 WHIP, almost a 4.6 FIP. The Dodgers have been flirting with a whole bunch of runs the last couple of nights. Last night, they were, like we talked about earlier in the show, PCA just showed up and was just, defensively, PCA was one of the best jobs I've seen in a very, very long time on a consistent basis. I mean, anything in the gap he was taking away. I just don't see that happening a second night in a row. And then, like Sauce mentioned before, Bobby, aka Miller, used to be Thriller. Is just an absolute shell of who he used to be last year. Yeah, last year, because he's been actually terrible all year this year. So every once in a while, he has a decent start where he gives up 3 runs in 5 innings. But that's like the best Bobby Miller has been able to show. Not to mention the fact he did face this Cubs team way earlier in the year, and they absolutely throttled him. So yeah, I expect more runs like we've seen the last couple nights. Runs, and I think the Dodgers score 5 here tonight. Last couple nights it's been 5.5 or whatever for the Dodgers. Well, it was 4 last night because of the pitching, but yeah, I think the Dodgers break through tonight.
That's the bet that killed me yesterday because I was 1-2 going into this late game.
You know what? I got to give what's his face from calling our shots?
Austin or Logan?
Austin. I got to give him a lot of credit because 2 or 3 weeks ago he came on and he was like, "Go back to."
No, that's Logan. Logan has come on. Austin hasn't been on this show in like a year.
Well, you said Austin. Sorry,
I said Austin or Logan. I wasn't sure who you were talking about.
My bad. But yeah, he told me after since he was like, and we were DMing after that, and he was like, "Just go back to the ones that screwed you." Like, I'm swear to God, I'm hitting at like an 85%. Like that's why I was so confident in Baltimore yesterday because they screwed me the day before. So
you're telling me that Dodgers team total over 4.5 is a lock here? Is what you're telling me?
Free.
It's free. It's free. So who in the comments said they were going to start tracking bets that people said were free?
Track this one right now.
All right, screw it. I'll do it. Go back to the one that screwed you. Ugh. It's unhealthy behavior. But all right, let's talk some football.
Some foosball.
Toast, talk to you later in the Discord.
NCAA spreadsheets are posted. They look amazing. Have a good night, guys.
All right, so we should be keeping 3 on. We're just going to switch Toast for Prop Beaver here. So, Modi, we're starting off with Bengals Chiefs. That's first on the board. Okay. I have a bet down in this game, so if you'd like.
So do I.
Oh, cool. Nice. Would you like to go first? You want me to go first?
Either way, is Prop Beaver going to come on and gloat about Josh Jacobs?
Well, I think Prop Beaver more so wants to talk about the second game. Oh, you guys want to talk about Josh? I'm not going to lie, Modi. You mushed the shit out of yourself on that.
I should have waited until the game was over. I DM'd Kyle saying that Prop Beaver was the dumbest person I've ever met, and that Josh Jacobs bet was the worst bet anyone's ever placed.
You're such 33-yard run fucking slut.
In the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he did it. He DM'd me that it was like mid third quarter, and then Josh Jacobs ended up breaking 2 like 20-yard runs after that and going over his total. So Prop Beaver ended up winning the bet. That's a classic mush. Classic mush.
Yeah, you're right. I should have waited. I was so excited about how wrong Prop Beaver was until that wasn't the case anymore.
Listen, my boy Josh is a pure runner, okay? It takes some time to get the legs going, but he's a pure runner. Is he going to be a pure runner behind Malik Willis? Oh, boy. I don't know, but he was a pure runner last week. But, hey, I don't know. You're a lot better at getting units than I am, so I'll take the small victory there.
Hey, I mean, you had that right.
Yeah.
All right, throw up a Bengals.
All right.
Fly my Bengals flag underneath me.
I don't know how
I'm
Really?
on the same boat.
Cool. All right, cool. We're Bengals program. So I got it at 6. And I knew that I liked the Bengals as soon as I looked at this one at 6. I was a little hesitant to place it. But then this morning I saw that a few sportsbooks had dropped it down to 5.5. So I grabbed one of the remaining 6s because I knew that this is the side I wanted to be on. I just wasn't sure. I mean, the Bengals did look pretty poor last week, but a couple things. Number one, if you're a Bengals fan, you got to be a little worried with what you saw last week. And I'm not just talking about the fact that they lost the game they should have won. That's not really what I'm talking about. That shit happens, man. It's football. Like you get upset sometimes. Season's not over, whatever. It's an ugly loss, but I'm referring more so to the fact that you saw the same patterns from Joe Burrow that we saw last year, in a sense that Joe Burrow was one of the worst quarterbacks in football last year when given a clean pocket, which is just like, what? One of the worst quarterbacks in football last year when given a clean pocket. Patriots didn't pressure him on Sunday. I think they pressured him on like 17% of his dropbacks, 19% of his dropbacks, something like that. One of the fewest in football. So Joe Burrow was not under duress in this game. He just could not get it going. He could not get the ball downfield. Patriots ran a lot of man coverage, and they just could not beat it. That's concerning. And by no means am I sweeping that under the rug. There are some positive takeaways from this, though. They were able to run the ball a little bit, 4.4 yards per carry. They just didn't. Only 12 carries they gave to their RBs in that game. Coming into this Chiefs game, I think the game plan is going to be clear. Patriots had one of the best run defenses in football last year. Chiefs didn't. Chiefs was on the opposite end of the spectrum there. I think the Bengals are going to be able to run the ball in this game, and I think they're going to make it a point to. Between Zach Moss and Chase Brown, I think the Bengals will get the run game going. Not to mention, this Chiefs man coverage is not going to be the same this year without Snead. In fact, I think Spagnuolo's hesitant to throw it out there. You know, the Chiefs, they ran a lot of man coverage last year, came out in a shitload of zone in that opening game against Baltimore. Now, that could have been just the game plan they threw together for the Ravens game, but maybe it's Spagnuolo doesn't feel as safe without Snead out there at corner. But regardless, Joe Burrow has only played 2 games against Spagnuolo and these Chiefs. He cooked them. He's averaging like 360 yards a game, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions against the Chiefs in his career. He cooks on the Chiefs. So I like Burrow to bounce back. Yeah, look, I'm you guys know I'm not the biggest Joe Burrow guy. I think we as a country, or we as a society of football fans, crown Joe Burrow as one of the best quarterbacks in the league a little prematurely, in my opinion. I think we've seen him struggle just as much as we've seen him look good. So I'm not a Joe Burrow guy, but I do think he bounces back strong, and I expect him to have some run support. And look, on the other side of the ball, the Bengals defense is terrible, but Mahomes hasn't really cooked on them. I mean, he's averaging like 230 yards a game, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. The Chiefs have beaten the Bengals the last 2 times, but it wasn't because Mahomes went off. Lou Anarumo is a great DC, and he's given Andy Reid problems. What the way the Chiefs have really been able to gash the Bengals recently is Pacheco. Pacheco went off in their last game. I think he had like 130 yards on 18 carries or some shit. He went absolutely crazy on this Bengals horrible run defense. So I expect Pacheco to be able to run the ball. That's why I like both teams to run the ball. And in my opinion, Chiefs shouldn't be laying 6 here. And look, that trend is dead, by the way. Remember the trend from 2 years ago that Chiefs
couldn't cover? Yeah.
Yeah, if they're 3-point favorites or less or underdogs, auto bet Mahomes. If he's a favorite of anything more than 3 points, you fade them. That's dead because they actually were profitable as a favorite of more than 3 points. I think they were 8-5-1 against the number last year when favored by more than 3 points. So that trend is no longer a thing. That's not the reason for the bet. The reason for the bet is a little bit of an overreaction. This line was 3 before last week's game. A serious adjustment, 3 whole points, and I think it's just an overreaction. I think the Bengals are live. Chiefs win their opener and get caught flat a little bit. This is like a new rivalry. The Chiefs have gotten them twice in a row. Cincinnati hate the exchanges on Twitter and shit from this has been funny. The mayor of Cincinnati got involved in it. So I like
Burrowhead.
We're going, yeah, we're Burrowhead. We're going to see the Bengals' best fastball in this game, and I don't want to lay 6 to them. So I'm on Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Can you
I'm
put
in agreement
the
with you.
poll up, Prop Beaver?
Oh, yeah.
I'm with you. And someone, Mitch in the comments, Burrow had the easiest schedule the year they went to the Super Bowl and hasn't done anything since. They literally went to the AFC Championship game the next year.
The next year.
And then last year they were 1-3, then they won 4 straight. They beat the 49ers, and then Burrow broke his wrist. So I don't know. I mean, I think Burrow's awesome. So you can count me in the people that crowned him too early. I think Burrow's awesome. But anyways, yeah, I'm with you on the Bengals. I don't have much to add. I have one player prop that I have officially locked in and sent out on my own. It's Pacheco anytime touchdown. You basically made the argument for me. He lit them up last year, 130 yards. He scored a touchdown. And Ramondre Stevenson lit the Bengals up last week. Ramondre Stevenson lit them up. He scored a touchdown. He had like over 100 yards, 24 carries, 120 yards and a touchdown. And the Patriots are a team that wants to slow the game down and run the ball. But Andy Reid has shown that if he has an advantage in the ground game, he will take advantage of it. It's what they did against the Bengals last year, granted without Burrow, but still. And Pacheco is just the red zone guy for the Chiefs. Like it was the case last year. He took 42 of 52 red zone carries. He took the only red zone carries last week. Granted, they didn't have a ton of plays in the red zone because 2 of their touchdowns were from outside the 20, but they did give Pacheco a carry in the red zone and he scored a touchdown. So I think Pacheco's just going to go, I'm not going to say go off. I think he's going to have all the opportunities to score when the Chiefs get close, and I think they should be able to run the ball. One play that I like that I haven't actually bet yet, because I want to wait for more books to give out odds, because right now only 3, is Jamar Chase, 7+ receptions. They love to no Snead. So that any stat of the Chiefs wide receiver 1 numbers doesn't really matter this year. And I just think that they're going to pepper him with targets, whether it's the short stuff around the line of scrimmage that doesn't really amount to anything. I just think he's going to get a ton of targets, and you can get that right now, plus 116 at FanDuel. Again, I'm not betting it until more books give out odds, but I do like that as a lean as of right now.
Who was that?
It was Jamar Chase, 6+ receptions.
6+ receptions. If you want to talk props, I thought about doing something because I just recorded this video, by the way. The Chiefs Bengals video, my upload will be up in about an hour because I just recorded this before this, so it's fresh in my head. I was thinking about doing something of putting down money on maybe a full unit on Zach Moss to score a touchdown at the plus 120, and then a half unit on Chase Brown to score a touchdown at the plus 330, because I think the Bengals are going to be able to run the ball, and one of those fucks is getting in. So it'll turn a profit as long as one of them scores. Also, I think there's a chance they both score, honestly. So yeah, I was thinking about doing something you don't have to put it on the screen or anything, but I was thinking about doing something like that, playing the one of the Bengals running backs. It looks like Zach Moss is going to be the main guy. He got 9 carries to Chase Brown's 3. But Chase Brown is the man. He was the man at Illinois, and I think he's a lot better than people think. So I would expect both of them to take turns, averaging 4.5 per clip against the Chiefs here. But it looks like prop here is on the other side.
Yeah, I don't know if I exactly love the Bengals in this one, but I didn't go as deep into the game as you did. I know you fully capped it. Just basically going briefly into my side. In terms of side, I think I got to lay with the Chiefs here, as crazy as incorrect as that sounds. I know Mahomes is a big favorite. He's not profitable. I know
he was last year, though.
Okay, well, that's good. Working for my side. I know Burrow and the Bengals have a great history covering against the Chiefs. I mean, 3-1 against the spread when Burrow's on the field. But all those covers have come in the late portion of the year when the Bengals have their momentum and they're playing at their best. This is the early portion of the year when it seems like this team just can't get it together. In weeks 1 through 4 since 2021, the Bengals are 4-9 against the spread. In all other weeks, they are 30, 12, and 2 against the spread. And I just feel like the Bengals' defensive weaknesses were not being exposed last week. I mean, Jacoby Brissett can't throw the ball farther than 6 yards down the field. And I mean, Jalen Polk and Co aren't exactly able to expose that. Now you got to deal with Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, who can make an innocent slant turn into a 15-yard gain. It's just insane. On top of that, I'm really worried about the run game. You mentioned Isaiah Pacheco. He's another guy. I'm not going to add a third different thing to the screen here and blow it up, but I'm also considering Isaiah Pacheco over rush yards as well. No DJ Reader to a rush defense that was already absolutely abysmal last year. I don't think we're taking seriously enough just how bad this Bengals defense was. Sure, they held the Patriots offense to 16 points last week, but I think that the Patriots offense could hold itself to 16 points weekly. So I don't really think that's that big of an accomplishment there. I think that really we have to see what the safeties can do in this defense, and with Xavier Worthy on this Chiefs offense and what's going to be doing spacing defenses. I mean, I think Worthy ran go routes on 45% or 50% of his routes the other day. So what it's going to be doing spacing the Chiefs offense and getting these guys open every week is going to be absurd. I just simply don't trust the Bengals defense at all. I think the Chiefs could be scoring almost every single possession here. And that's the issue. I don't think that early season Burrow could keep up. I feel like it may be recency bias, I'm not going to lie, but at least the past 2 seasons or 3 seasons now, it seems like I'm seeing Joe Burrow week 1 or 2, week 3 on the sidelines looking like this. And the dude's just sucking ass. He's flat out sucking ass. But when we get to the receiving yards, one thing I do like, and I believe, was it Matt or was it Lander that was on our show last week that gave out Justice Hill over receiving yards? That shit cast nearly instantly.
Yeah, that was Lander.
It was like 3 plays in.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost instantly. Chiefs love allowing receiving yards to running backs, and I think that trend is going to continue here. I mean, you were mentioning Chase Brown out of Illinois. I think he's going to be the main receiving back on the team, although it was Zach Moss who led the team in targets last week. With the Bengals receiving room in flux, we got T. Higgins likely to miss this one. Jamar Chase going to have Trent McDuffie shadowing him all game. I don't like the disrespect that you showed him, Modi. Keep it going, Modi. We're going to be beefing by the end of the season. I just think
he's no Snead.
He's no Snead, but goddamn is he good. He was an All-Pro for a reason. I just think that there's going to be some nice value here, so we should be waiting on those lines. I mean, look at the last 7 games for the Chiefs and the receiving yards allowed to the running back position: 52, 111, 50, 62, 24, 38, and 45. The average stat line for the opposing running back position in those games: 9 targets, 7 receptions, 55 receiving yards. One of those games was actually last year. Chase Brown, 23 yards, 2 receptions. Joe Mixon, 4 receptions, 22 yards. So, yeah, if we could get like one of these guys at like 13 and a half, I may honestly take both of them, just put a half unit on it. So we'll see there. We'll update you. Also, we talked about it on yesterday's show. I already bet Malik Neighbors 63 and a half receiving yards over. Would go bet that right now.
All right, let's move on to the next game, which is Bucks Lions. It's up at 7 now. To be honest, I haven't looked through this one all the way. I know Prop Beaver has, and I think Modi wants to talk about it too. So I'll let these guys go. I'm just listening.
Modi, you want to go first because I'm out of breath.
Yeah, I can go first. I actually betted. I would lean towards the Lions spread. I'm not ready.
Same.
The Bucks were good last year, but different offensive coordinator, and just because they lit up the Commanders, who might have the worst defense in the NFL, doesn't make me think that they're going to be as good as they were last year. The Lions at home in a dome against a team that can't stop the pass, I think is look like Lions. I'm on it. The player prop that I have is Laporta anytime touchdown, plus 150 odds at Caesars. Honestly, any way you want to play Laporta, whether it's his receptions, yards, touchdown, whatever, I think he's going to have a good game. Last year he played well against the Bucks, but he just didn't score. But the Bucks defense really struggled guarding tight ends last year. They had the most targets against, 3rd most receptions, 3rd most yards, and tied for the 3rd most touchdowns, tight ends against the Bucks. It's the same coaching staff, similar personnel, except now they're missing Antoine Winfield, who got hurt last week. And Laporta, and also the Bucks stopped the run. They tied the Ravens for the fewest rushing touchdowns allowed last year. So that's kind of why I'm off on Gibbs and Monty. And Laporta, as a rookie, had the 3rd most red zone targets in the NFL. Only Kelsey and Ferguson had more. Inside the 10-yard line, he was tied with Kelsey with literally the most. And then inside the 5-yard line, he was tied with David Njoku with the 2nd most. So he got targeted a lot in the red zone. And even if you compare his numbers to receivers, that would have been the 7th most targets in the red zone, the 5th most inside the 10, and the 3rd most inside the 5. And as for the Lions specifically, Amon-Ra out-targeted him inside the 20 and inside the 10, but inside the 5, Laporta out-targeted Amon-Ra, and you're getting a way better price on Laporta. I think Amon-Ra is going to have a good game too. So I'm not going to say that I'm out on Amon-Ra. I just really like the price on Laporta at plus 150. So that's definitely my favorite play in this one. I also do like Mike Evans to score plus 120. Both these teams are pass funnels. Baker said last week, as long as he gets single coverage, he's going to target Evans in the red zone, and they're going to try to line him up against the rookie Terrion Arnold, who really struggled against the Rams last week. We saw what Cooper Kupp did to the Lions last week. Not that Stafford and Kupp are quite Baker and Mike Evans, but I think they're good. I think they're going to target him a ton. So yeah, 2 anytime touchdowns. I went with this.
Okay, prop Beaver.
All right. So I know laying points with a defense like the Lions, especially a pass defense like the Lions, kind of scary. But this is more so kind of, I guess, fading a Bucs offense that I feel is kind of overvalued after facing what I would call an abomination of a Commanders pass defense. I mean, holy Christ. Joe Jr., you got yourself a hell of a unit you took over there in Washington, my friend. Good luck over there. So the Lions are actually have some fantastic history against the Bucs. 12-4 against the spread against this Bucs team in their last 16 matchups headed back to 2000. So that's something nice we got going there. If you look on the offensive side of the ball, I actually don't hate the matchup for Baker. So I will give some credence to Bucs bettors there. The Lions do like to blitz to get pressure. The Lions were first in pressure rate last year, but they were also 11th in blitz rate. Baker can handle his blitzes. He was 5th in turnover worthy play rate, 4th in pressure to sack rate, 7th in passer rating. So that's not really a problem for them there. What I am kind of a bit worried about there is the Lions just pass defense overall improving. I mean, the Lions pass defense last year really fell apart down the stretch. But they did finish 16th in DVOA. However, you saw them bring in guys like Amik Robertson. Terry Arnold struggled a bit down the stretch last year, but you saw them hold Matthew Stafford to only 6.5 yards per attempt and an 85.2 passer rating.
And there were some miracle plays in there to get that from Stafford, like throws that Baker's not going to make.
Precisely. And I mean, 317 yards. It took him 49 attempts to get there. So sure, on the fantasy, if you're looking from like the number standpoint, 317 yards, that looks like a great day, but 49 attempts to get there isn't really that good. It's actually a pretty damn good day for the Lions pass defense. You got to be proud of the effort there. And then on the other side of the ball, this is where I just like it here. I just don't know if this Bucs defense is going to be able to stop the Lions offense. The Bucs defense was able to sleepwalk in the opening week against the Commanders offense that really, I mean, I don't know what the hell that offense is doing. Jaden Daniels is a really talented quarterback, but Cliff Kingsbury, that guy, I don't know how he got a second run in the NFL. But Todd Bowles wants to create pressure through the blitz, similar to what the Lions are doing, but it just simply doesn't work against Jared Goff. What you need to do against Jared Goff is to create pressure. But when you don't create pressure with the blitz like Todd Bowles was doing, it just doesn't work. And it really hurt them against the Lions last season. If you look at when he tried to blitz against Jared Goff last season, he blitzed him on 45% of his dropbacks, but only created pressure on 27% of them in their 2 matchups last season. When they blitzed, he had 318 yards, 3 pass TDs, and 110.2 passer rating. Now they're getting an offensive line upgrade. You're bringing in Kevin Zeitler. I mean, there's going to be even less pressure on Goff in this matchup, and you have 3 guys missing from the secondary potentially who got banged up in the last matchup. I'm just simply not seeing it for the Buccaneers in this one. So I think the Lions could outpace them, outscore them, and I think the Buccaneers offense is overvalued here. That's what I'm really laying the 7 for here.
Yeah, and I think that the Lions front 4 are able to generate pressure without sending the blitz, and Baker Mayfield has been so excellent last year and even in last week. When you send extra rushers, he's making quick reads. He really is playing well. But if the Lions are able to pressure him with just their front 4, Baker could be in a situation here. I didn't place a bet on this game. I don't want. I'll do a full handicap of this game and probably upload a video at some point. But I don't want to put a pickup on the screen and then change my mind. So as of right now, I am undecided on this one. So let's go talk some college football. That order in the left, that's not exactly the order we're going to go in though. First, we're going to do Oregon State first, I believe. We're doing Oregon State. No, Boston College, Missouri first, please, Prop Beaver.
Boston College.
So that should be 4 games down. Boom, nailed it. So we're doing Boston College, Missouri first, then Oregon State, and then the last game is Arkansas, UAB. And, man, the UAB, what a heartbreaker. I was pretty confident laying the 11 points last week. They get their asses beat by Louisiana Monroe. So they respond by upsetting the Hogs? No, we'll talk about that last. All right. So
Cool. Thanks, guys. See
Oh
ya.
yeah, Modai, have a good day, man. Thanks for
Yeah,
joining.
I mean, you didn't give us an outro there. Jesus.
Oh
Have
yeah,
some
well I
class.
mean, my
Guys
bad.
excited about talking college
Oh,
football.
why don't you
not as
just
well,
what,
but-
whoa? Where'd I go?
Well, I was trying to do the thing. For CFB.
Or CFB, it's called.
Well,
Oh, wait a second. Sort and choose the other 4.
don't worry, folks. Just technical difficulties. This one?
Yeah, try that one. There we go. Oh no, that's the wrong people. We have one with Grissom's name on it.
Is it called Grissom, dude?
Should be just there's only should be 2 that say 4 on it in there. One's the
There's 50 with 4 on them.
really? Oh fuck. 1 sec, sorry. I think it's called 4 shit.
Well, Grissom, you should. No, that's not it either, dude.
Oh, that's not it. All right, I'll make another one real quick. Screw it.
All right, Grissom, we'll have you on the screen in no time, my
Yeah,
friend. Just
I
stay
have
posted.
one with Grissom's
Listen,
name on it, but I don't sure.
We run a tight ship here.
Yeah.
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 We
Yeah,
had
and you know what's crazy is Andy took Oklahoma State minus 7.5. Scoop took Arkansas plus 8.5. They both covered. Yeah. I thought you had it.
There's a viral shirt going around that says my team almost always almost wins, and that's just, I mean, that's being a Razorback fan in a nutshell.
Do you think that performance though, because going on the road and playing them tough, that was a good look for Pittman. Do you think that at least saves his job for the time being, or no?
I guess. I mean, you still have the situation of how you lost. You look at the box score. We outscored them, 648 yards to 385. You pretty much just self-inflicted wounds lost you the game. I mean, you have the muff punt. You have the pick 6 that probably just he should have eaten it. But, I mean, other than that, Talon played a really solid game, threw for over 400 yards. I feel like Petrino's got this offense clicking. They can score at will. And you can ask, if Jaquindon Jackson doesn't start having cramps on the sidelines and having it. I mean, he was sidelined like every other play. He would come in, bust a 7 or 8 yard run, and then have to hobble off and get rubbed down or something. I don't know. I liked what I saw. Obviously, the result didn't match that, but yeah, I mean,
Tough finish.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with UAB. This should be a very winnable.
I don't know
easy
though. That
game.
offense is pretty good. By the way, the file's called 4 Newest. Prop Beaver, sorted by. It's called 4 Newest.
I mean,
I just put it in there, man. Oh, it's in. Hold on, I'll put it in there again. It's in names, right?
yeah. Okay, I see it. Hey.
All right, there we go. So you have to shift the screen around, but we finally got it. Damn. All right.
I was gonna say I'll be Beaver. This guy fucking sucks.
Yeah, that's a decent impression of him.
I wanted to say before we go to football, congrats to Toast for over 25 units on the site.
Oh yeah, he's having a hell of a season.
Doing awesome.
The crazy
Wow.
part is he was like down about 2 months in. He was like
Yeah, he
down
was down
9.
20.
Yeah,
He was down 20.
yeah, he was down a lot. I don't know if he ever hit 20. It was like 14 though. He was down. He battled back. But all right, cool. First up is Boston College, Missouri, and Andy can go first on this one because he loves Mizzou. He's laying I think he took it at 16.5, but he's all in, like no hesitation. Loves Mizzou here.
Yeah, this is 100% an overreaction from some people. These teams are 4 touchdowns apart. All right, Missouri is one of the best teams in the SEC. Brady Cook's gotten off to a little bit of a slow start, but I think this is a perfect spot for him to bounce back against a BC defense that, look, they played Duquesne last week. Throw that game out. I said it yesterday. Florida State's offense is just bad. They were just bad. Okay, they're not going to be nearly as good as they were last year. That's why BC was successful in their first game. It wasn't because this BC defense is all of the sudden amazing. No, we found out with the way that Syracuse played against Georgia Tech, it was proven that Florida State's offense is just not good. That's just how that goes. Now you're facing a Missouri team who I think this offense is amazing. They have the best receiver in the SEC. And like I said, Brady Cook and them, they've been sleeping a little bit on offense early. Granted, they did kill both their opponents. They haven't even given up a touchdown yet. But they were sleeping through those games. They played Murray State and Buffalo. Now they get a real opponent in Boston College, a bad defense. I think this is all types of good for Missouri. And also, Boston College's offense isn't very good either.
Oh, whoa.
No.
Castellanos can play.
They can run the ball a little bit, but we've seen them a little bit overperform here. And now you're going on the road in an SEC building where they don't usually lose now. Now, they did play a close game last year to, I want to say it was Memphis or Middle Tennessee. But this is a place where they are very successful in Missouri. And I'm sorry, this is just, there's a huge talent gap. I think we're overrating BC for beating Florida State, and obviously they crushed Duquesne. So yeah, this is just, I think this is a huge Missouri spot.
It's kind of hard to lay 17 points to a quarterback like Castellanos, Castellanos also had times last year where he looked really shaky. So I'm not like, oh, Castellanos, how do you fade him? But he could, it's a walking big play at any moment. So it's tough to lay a big number. Scoop was going like this when you were talking, so that means I guess Scoop's on Boston.
I believe in Castellanos, best quarterback in college football for sure. I'm just kidding, but
I was gonna say, wait, hold up.
Missouri has looked unstoppable defensively, but that's against Murray State and Buffalo. Let's take it easy. Brady Cook may have been playing perfect football, but so is Castellanos. Buffalo collected their paycheck last game. It's time to move on. Mizzou is.
I actually heard that Brady Cook looked a little shaky. I didn't watch either of the games. I actually heard that Brady Cook looked a little shaky, right?
Yeah, he hasn't been what he was last year, but I think he's just sleeping through those games. I mean, they put Buffalo and Murray State.
Noel Carroll, Luther Burden, they're all solid weapons for Cook. So, the team's great. They returned like 80% of their production from last year, and it's going to be the best offense Boston College is going to see all year, I would think, because the ACC is not anything to talk about. But yeah, that's the offense. I don't care that Missouri hasn't given up a point yet. I don't really like their defensive line. I think Boston College has dominated the line of scrimmage in their two games so far. This team's going to run the ball, eat some clock, keep it close. They got a lineman back this week too on the offensive line, and that running back is deep. So yeah, Castellanos can extend plays, has the right decisions. Not only this year, he did last year too. This one should stay closer than I was 16.5 at 17, which great. I'd be more comfortable going over the team total for Boston College, truthfully, which is 18.5. Especially because Missouri hasn't been tested, but even against a slightly above average offense like Boston College, I think Castellanos can keep it close. I think 17 is a little too much.
So we have difference of opinion there. All right, Grissom, I know you probably have an opinion about Missouri because they're in their SEC. Do you think Boston College can hang here on the road?
I think you've got to ask your question of how good is Florida State now and how impressive was that win? Yes, Boston College looked like the best team in week 0. However, that may not be saying much. Castellanos didn't have to do much. He was 9 of 10, I think, last weekend in their win. Brady Cook, 1 touchdown, 1 interception on the year. That's not off to the Heisman race that I thought he might be in. But I am on Mizzou over 9.5 wins. I got it plus 155. This is definitely one that I looked at the schedule and thought, okay, they're definitely going to win this one. But with the way Castellanos has played Boston College, I think they'll be able to test them. And when I first saw this number, I thought it was too many points. That being said, our website at collegefootballinsiders.com, shout out to Parker Fleming, doing the Lord's work over there.
Oh, shit.
Mizzou
we were just watching Parker Fleming's show before. I didn't know you knew him. We
were
just watching his show like an hour ago.
We started with College Baseball Insiders doing a lot of the advanced analytics and stuff that like D1 and other sites do, but all the advanced stuff. And then I've always wanted to do it for college football. Parker, it just kind of made sense. We've known each other for several years now, but you look at Mizzou, they're top 20 in basically everything from offensive, defensive, EPA, success rate, the Eckel, they're number 2. This is still using some of last season's stats, but we're now over the bulk of using 2024. And we make this a 18-point favorite for Mizzou, which has kind of curbed me from jumping on Boston College. But if I had to pick it, I think it's just too many points. You can barely give Missouri any home field advantage for that trash stadium they play in Columbia. The worst thing about it is for the visiting team, the locker room, I swear it's like in a cold, wet basement that they haven't remodeled since the 20s. So that may be the only thing. But I think Boston College is legit. They're an ACC contender. I think they proved that with Florida State. But I think it's too many points. I would be on the Golden Eagles here.
I personally think if I had this one, I don't have a bet down. I think this number 54 is up there for a reason. And if you're like, okay, Castellanos, maybe I can't rely on him to come in and cover the number. I feel like you could count on him to make a big play or two and maybe put some points up for Boston College. So I think I would lean towards Missouri, but I think over would be where I would go. But you don't even have to put it up because I didn't bet this game. I do have a couple bets in the ones we're about to talk about, but I don't know. I feel like we don't. I feel like we don't know shit about Missouri, to be honest, because they haven't let up a single point yet. They haven't played anybody, and I know what we all expect Missouri to be, and they're being priced as what we expect Missouri to be. But I don't know if I'm willing to lay down money that they're just going to come out and in their first Power 4 test of the year look like we expect them to look. So I don't think I'm actually going to place a bet in this game, but I think Missouri should win comfortably. But
yeah, you talked about the total. We've got a total of 58 points, so it would lean over. May look at like a first half over. Both of these teams, I feel like they score a lot of points in the first half. It's, especially the first quarter, scripted drives, all that. That may be another way to attack it if you just really want to get down on this game.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at as well. If you put a gun to my head, force you to place a bet on this game, I think I would just bet points. All right, let's move on to the next one. We are going to do Arkansas last. Well, we're going to do Arkansas third. Next up, we want to do Oregon State, which is
It's actually like the hardest game.
I don't think it's that hard. I think it's. How do you lay 16.5 in Corvallis right now? How could you do it?
Yeah.
I'll go first. I mean, Oregon's look pretty terrible. I mean, this opened at 20.5 down to 16.5. Total went down 3.5 points too. There's just no explosiveness right now from this Oregon team, and stopping the run's a problem. I'm not sure if that's Genty or not. I said before that Genty would get his yards no matter who he plays. But plus, I'm not sure about Oregon's line right now. The offensive line, Gabriel got sacked a ton against Boise. They tried different linemen throughout the game, throughout the whole game. They were trying different formations and everything, but just wasn't working for them. On paper, Oregon should steamroll Oregon State. I mean, Oregon State is one-dimensional. They're going to run the ball with Griffin and Hankerson. McCoy was going to throw it 15, 20 times. But on the other side, Oregon's going to throw the ball with Gabriel, and Oregon State hasn't played a team with a pass-first offense really yet. The issue I see is Oregon State's D-line is just awesome creating pressure right now. And, I mean, I know it's against San Diego State and Idaho State. I know this is in Corvallis, and I know Oregon State's offensive line is going to be great. Oregon's defensive line hasn't gotten pressure either. So I think Oregon State's dominating both of the line here. I think it's a tough game to call. From a talent perspective, I lean Oregon. I'm not personally betting it, but I would lean Oregon State just because I think this is too many points at home, especially against an Oregon team who hasn't really shown much on either side of the ball, personally.
Yeah, this is another game that I don't have a bet, but you could put Oregon State plus 16.5 because I can tell you with certainty that I'm not laying 16.5 points in Corvallis. And like Scoop said, talent-wise, they should win by 3 touchdowns. But if you don't expect them to decisively win the line of scrimmage battle on both sides, how can you lay 3 scores on the road? And I don't know if Oregon can decisively win the line of scrimmage battle on both sides. Sure, as far as weapons, the talent discrepancy is massive. But, I mean, like Scoop said, Oregon State's defensive lines look really good. They're going to run the ball. They're going to be physical. And I just don't know if you can count on a team going into Corvallis and winning by 3 scores when they're not clicking right now. Maybe Oregon clicks in this game and all of a sudden Dylan Gabriel looks like the Heisman Trophy winner. But as far as what we've seen, I just don't think you could do it. Maybe Andy, are you laying it, Andy?
Sorry, I was waiting to be unmuted. I wouldn't lay it, to be honest. I will say that I'm looking at our spreadsheets now, and I'm looking at the statistics, and yes, Oregon State has been much better on the lines, but I mean they're playing bad football.
It's not that I don't think Oregon State's better on the lines. I'm just saying. You expect Oregon to decisively win those battles.
I mean, talent-wise, they fucking should. I mean, this is they're recruiting top-tier talent. All of this Oregon State team is brand new. I mean, they're literally a Mountain West talent team. They lost a ton in the portal. Obviously, they were going to. They're not a power conference school anymore. And they've played San Diego State, who is one of the better running teams in the Mountain West, but they're not a particularly strong team. And then they played Idaho State, or it was some FCS school in the first game. And last week, like Oregon, I thought for sure they would come up much better than that. They didn't. They looked awful. And Ashton Genty, I literally said, "There's no way this guy will run for 300 yards again." And then he damn near did it. He's amazing and probably gonna be up there for the Heisman. But yeah, in terms of this game, I think Corvallis is an overrated place now. I don't think that this is a power conference university anymore, so I don't think it's going to be as electric as everybody thinks.
Do you think it changes overnight?
I will say
for like 15 minutes.
This particular game, it's going to be very very loud in that place, but I just think Oregon's got so much more talent. So if I had to gun to my head, I'd probably lay it with Oregon, but I'm not going to bet the game.
I think I might be down to bet this. Grissom, which side are you on?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that sticks out to me the most, and who has the fakest stat line other than Dylan Gabriel? I mean, it's almost like you're playing a video game where you don't want to throw in completions. Like, it would kill this guy to throw it away or something just because he's afraid it's going to hurt his completion percentage. But Oregon, they play with their food too much. Dan Lanning, you came from the SEC. What does Kirby Smart do? He plays smart, plays hard defense. I don't understand the gimmicky plays that Lanning was calling last weekend. This team should be scoring at will right now. I mean, they're third in yards per play. They're 23rd in turnovers. So they're not turning the ball over, and they're gaining almost a first down every single snap. Yet you're 260th in points scored. This is just a lack of execution when you get into the red zone. You have to rely on a huge special teams play to even get back even with Boise State or take the lead, whatever they did there. But yeah, Dan Lanning, show up and play SEC football, because that will get you a win and probably a cover. If they don't, and they continue to try this gimmick bullshit they're running right now, I think Oregon State is in line to get a backdoor cover in this.
Yeah, hell yeah. Put it up, Beavers. Andy could be on his own little Oregon island.
Until he shows me what he's not, I'm going to keep assuming that he is what he is, and he's 0-2 against the spread.
Yeah, and I've never really been a Dan Lanning guy. I mean, Exhibit A was when he went for it on 4th down 3 times in the Washington game last year. I was actually sick to my stomach watching that, holding an Oregon ticket. Like, I was sick to my stomach. So yeah,
but that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, I'm not.
He's not. He doesn't play conservatively, and a lot of people like that. I mean, I'm for the, I'm from Arkansas. We had the famous high school coach that never punted, always kicked an onside kick, and went for 2 every single time. Yeah, I love that. It's great. It doesn't have to be that way, especially when you're competing with the big boys in the Big Ten now. You got to play smart football.
Yeah, and there are times where it makes sense, and a lot of, I feel like sometimes they've taken the word analytics and they just throw it onto dumb decisions sometimes. Like, no, that's not analytics. That's just stupidity. Like, yes, if you're on the 44 going in and it's 4th and 2, yes, mathematically it makes sense. But there are times where they go for it on their own side of the field. They're like, oh, analytics. Like, no, that's not analytics. That's just bad decision making.
Yeah.
So
and like we look at other coaches, Mario Cristobal and Deion Sanders get roasted for making a bad coaching decision. Lanning kind of gets a pass, and I guess it's because of his record. Was he 24-5? So you can't really say a lot because he's winning games. But
yeah,
man, some of his coaching blunders, they're up there with Cristobal.
He didn't get a pass in my living room, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I was on Oregon in that game, and I was pretty aggravated too, because they were the better team. They played better the whole game.
100%. He gave it away.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Hogs. It's Hogs time, and I had UAB like I mentioned last week. Now, granted, it was probably a little bit of an irresponsible bet because I don't know a ton about Louisiana Monroe. The preview we did on Louisiana Monroe preseason was about 7 minutes long. So I don't have extensive knowledge of Louisiana Monroe. I just knew they were coming off a win against Jackson State, and I thought might have been a little overvalued. And we had all agreed that this is one of the worst teams in the FBS. UAB, I expect to be this explosive offense. So I thought, hey, laying 11, it was probably a little bit of an irresponsible bet. That being said, they got their asses beat by Louisiana Monroe. So was that a flat? Do you think they bounce? Can they score points in Arkansas? How about that?
That's going to be the biggest question mark. We are going to be down our starting safety, Hudson Clark. I've just seen that he's going to be out. Landon Jackson should be fine. He played against Oklahoma State. That was kind of the skeptical one that we didn't really know about. That was the only number that I could, or the only reason I could put that the number was going against me against Oklahoma State. But I think the Hogs bounce back. If you want to bet it, I feel like the first half is probably a safer bet. Hogs are a first half team. For whatever reason, they can't seem to make adjustments at halftime to change anything. And yeah, and like even with the addition of Bobby Petrino, I don't know exactly how much he is running the game management aspect of it. If you were watching the Oklahoma State game, they stressed me out just trying to go down and kick the field goal to send it to overtime. Like, I think we ended up stopping the clock with 2 seconds left, but they just completely mismanaged the end of that game. And it's amazing that the kid made the field goal to even get us to overtime.
Yeah.
But
the spread's 13.5, by the way, Prop Beaver. Go ahead.
It's 13.
13.5. You could still get it under 2 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, for the first half. Okay. I feel like Petrino's got a fire lit under them now. They're going to come out hot. It's just going to be – that's a big number. And Hogs weren't great at home. They actually cover more spreads on the road than they do at home. So it's a big number. I wouldn't bet it full game unless you can get under that 24, like 23.5 maybe. But I think this could easily be like a 48-24 type game. And that would be assuming that UAB does not score in the beginning and they start putting drives together in the second half.
So you said Hogs first half. Scoop. Is UAB dead? Is just Trent Dilfer dead out there?
Yeah, Trent Dilfer's dead. I actually agree with Grissom completely. I was actually saying Hogs first half, to be honest. You can get it a good number too, minus 13.5. Arkansas has a tough time closing out games. They look great in the first half. Even a couple of years they've been doing this for a while. They come out strong. UAB was a disappointment. Like you said in the earlier, Andy and me both won on opposite sides. We're right in the number of 8, which is great. UAB went from an offensive explosion from Alcorn to a complete dud to Monroe of all teams. So didn't see that one coming. If this is the same UAB team that plays like it did last week, Arkansas is going to tear them apart. I know Arkansas's pass rush isn't great, but it's better than UAB's offensive line at protecting the pass. So I think Arkansas is going to get after Zeno, who's terrible under pressure. Offensively, as long as he can stay in the game, LaQuindon Jackson should easily get over 150 yards here on the ground. He's averaging about 8 yards a carry. Even without the Arkansas Pine Bluff game, he's averaging 6.2 against an OK State line, whose line's way better than UAB's. So, Taylor Green didn't have a terrible game. Not good, not terrible, but he's going to scramble around. He's going to find an open receiver, probably Armstrong, personally. Arkansas honestly just blew that game against OK State with turnovers. They had 12 first downs, almost 300 more total yards. So, yeah, I think Arkansas comes out strong here, scores a couple in the first quarter, and hangs on in the first half.
Yeah, I'm looking at the spreadsheet here, and kind of looks like Arkansas should be able to rip 6-7 yards a carry pretty easily in this game on the UAB front seven. So how about an over? Can we count on Zeno to make a couple of plays? Anyone?
16.5's a lot.
Yeah, our projections have it 62. It's a little too close for comfort. They have 41-21 Hogs.
What's the UAB team total over at? So wait, hold on. If it's a 24-point spread and the total's at, so quick math, that would put it at about 18.5, 17.5. UAB team total over. I'm not.
While you're looking that up, I will say too, another thing, I would be wary of betting Arkansas for the game minus 24.5, just because if we get up on them, Jaquinta Jackson's been hurt. Atlanta Jackson's been hurt. Safety, we don't know exactly who's starting yet. Andrew Armstrong was hurt. He didn't play against UAPB. And we've got Auburn on the road next week. So I wouldn't be surprised if you start resting your guys if you've got a big lead, which could ultimately end up in UAB backdooring it too.
And UAB has an offense that can score on second unit. They can score. They just did it last week. Yeah, it's at 17 and a half. Probably.
Yeah, it's like minus 105, and then 16 and a half is minus 140. So
don't tempt me with a good time. Dragons over 16 and a half?
So
I'll have everybody in my house wondering what in the world I bet when I'm rooting for the Hogs the first half and rooting for the Blazers to score points in the second half.
Of a 30-point game, just need a late touchdown. Yeah, give me UAB team total over 16 and a half. I could see myself betting that, betting the Dragons resurgence here. Andy, what do you think?
Yeah, the Mets are 3 outs from being no hit, so I'm pissed about that. But also, so this exact scenario happened last time for UAB. It was week 3, they got blown out by Louisiana, and then they went on the road to Georgia. And they actually covered, and that was because the line was so outrageous. I believe it was 45. They did put up 3 touchdowns, but a couple of them were late. But other than that, that one's an outlier because in the previous 4 seasons, not including 2020.
Yeah, but we don't care about before Trent.
I'm just saying, they always go to these games. They always play these. And before that Georgia game, they had scored 7, 7, and 10
this
on
is a new UAB.
road SEC games. I'm just saying, just adding a trend. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, fuck that.
It usually doesn't go well for them. However, this is Arkansas, and this is barely an SEC team, and it's damn well not an SEC coach. So I will give them credit. Arkansas did a lot better than I thought they would do last week, but I do think I agree with him. I would go first half Arkansas if I'm betting the game. I'm not betting the full game. I'd probably bet the over because I think Arkansas can put up a lot of points early. I think this UAB team getting punched in the mouth last week, maybe it'll wake them up and put up some touchdowns, but I'm not going to bet on them. So I just lean Arkansas first half with him and also the over.
All right.
Sam Pittman 6-10 at home as a favorite in his tenure at Arkansas.
Against the spread or straight up?
Against the spread.
I was going to say, holy shit.
If it's straight up, you should be fired.
He'll be fired soon anyway.
He's probably below 500 too on the straight up.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go West Virginia next. Grissom, you said you had to take off at 5, right?
Yeah, I'm good if you want to keep me on for a little bit.
Yeah, stay on. You're more than welcome to stay on. I just didn't want to keep you if you had something to do. But yeah, no, we're doing West Virginia, Cincinnati. You're more than welcome to hang out.
West Virginia Pitt.
West Virginia Pitt. That's the second time
Yeah.
I did that.
This is the second time you did that.
So I'll go first. Wait, switch it over to 4 people. There we go. So I'll go first because I have a bet in this one. I took the Mountaineers on the money line. Probably going to be the quote-unquote square side. I really don't care. I think I'm getting the much better team, and I think I'm being put in a very good opportunity. I think I'm being given a very good opportunity to call bullshit on the Pitt offense right now. Now, it's not that I don't think this Pitt offense is going to be better. It seems like handing the keys to the offense to Cade Bell was the smartest thing Narduzzi has done in the last couple of years. May have even saved his job because that offense looks completely different. They went from one of the slowest pace offenses in college football last year to now with Cade Bell running things. I believe they're the 15th fastest pace in the country right now. So this Pitt team, I didn't even know Holstein was going to be the quarterback. I thought it was going to be Yarnell. So they throw a quarterback I wasn't even expecting out there, and they're putting up points, and it's working. So kudos to Pitt, but you can put up West Virginia money line for me. I'm on the money line. I got it at minus 128, I think, minus 130, somewhere in there. So it's not that I think this Pitt offense is complete bullshit, but we do have to consider the schedule. I mean, first game was against Kent State. And I mean, who did Kent State just lose to?
Still gave up
St.
24.
Francis, PA.
Yeah, but one of them was on like a fumbled kickoff return. It was a weird 24. They only gave up like 220 yards in the game or something. So, but whatever. It was Kent State who just lost to who?
St. Francis, Pennsylvania.
St. Francis. That's who Kent State just lost to. So one was against Kent State, and excuse me, and the other one was against Cincinnati. And I think Cincinnati should be able to run the ball a little bit this year, but as far as defensively, hell no. Yeah, like I'm not throwing you a parade for scoring on Cincinnati. And by the way, they shouldn't even have won that game. They came back and it was like a miracle comeback. Cincinnati gave the game away. So this is just a very perfect sell high spot on this Pitt team. West Virginia's about to come in here and slam the ball between the tackles. We expect this to be one of the best rushing offenses in the FBS this year. They were a top 25 rushing attack last year. They're going to come in here. This Pitt defensive front, we haven't really gotten to see it yet because they played Kent State and Cincinnati. It's not going to be as good this year. They lost their entire defensive line. Their defensive line coach is gone. West Virginia's going to run the football here, and it's going to work. And look, Holstein, as explosive as the new offense has seen, has looked, he's thrown a pick in each game. This is going to be the best. Not that West Virginia's defense is anything great. Still going to be the best defense he's ever seen as a starter. So I think West Virginia wins this one comfortably, and I realize the whole world's going to be betting this. I don't care. WVU for me. Anyone?
Yeah, I agree. I think you've got to throw out the Penn State game for West Virginia. They were buying a lot of hype into them being able to upset Penn State. I think Penn State was just undervalued there. I think West Virginia responds well. Our projections make this West Virginia minus 7.5. I think Pitt they're probably going to be a 7-5 team every year. This is one that they're probably going to drop. Narduzzi is 10-9 as a home dog. Doesn't really scare me. It's about 50-50. So, yep, I'm riding the Mountaineers with you.
Let's do it. And Pittsburgh was 0-3 coming off wins last year, but they did just win last week coming off a win. So, Scoop?
Yeah, I posted this on the site. I like West Virginia. I'll lay the two because I think that this is going to be a 10 to 14 point win. I'm surprised Pitt came back in that game. At one point, since he had a 98% chance to win on the projections. So Holstein looked terrible that first half. He came out firing the second half. But listen, Cincinnati's kicker missed a 25-yard field goal. There were some mistakes by Cincy at the end of that game. After that Penn State debacle, West Virginia had a nice tune-up game here for Pitt. I still don't believe in Pittsburgh, especially defensively. I think they'll find some big holes for their offensive line. Donaldson and White should have a solid game on the ground. I know their run game hasn't been anything to talk about, and I think their defense can stop Pitt's running game, even though their line has been extremely solid up front. But Pitt hasn't played anybody, like you just said. West Virginia's defensive line is enough to challenge Desmond Reed. He's not going to have room up front. Plus, Pitt, I mean, you can say what you want. They still gave 24 plus to Cincy and Kent State. So Cincinnati had over 6 yards per play. They were dominating that whole game. They shouldn't have lost that. So I like West Virginia's offense more than I do Pitt at this point. I think Pitt's a fluke, personally. So, and trust, as Garrett Green wasn't great, I still trust Green more than Holstein. And
Yep.
I like the way he can move around the pocket. So I take West Virginia lane.
I honestly think West Virginia is better in every aspect of the game. Like truly, I think Pittsburgh's defense is a little bit like suspect, especially with they're only brought back 3 or 4 starters from last year's team. I don't expect it to be great. Normally, Pittsburgh has a better defense than West Virginia, but I don't even know if they do this year. Andy, are we sweeping West Virginia?
I would lean going on a total here, and the number's just so high that I'd actually lean the under because logically every West Virginia game should go under. They're only going to run the football. They were like 7th in run frequency. And Pitt's running a fast pace now, which kind of maybe cancels that out, but I think you're right. I think West Virginia's better in every single aspect of the game besides pass defense. So maybe Pitt gets something downfield. But again, Pitt hasn't faced anybody. So I don't really know on a side. I do think I'm high on this West Virginia team. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not going to completely go off the boat here. I just think this number is so high for teams that I think are both mid on offense. So yeah, I'll take the under 63.5.
All right. And look, we're polling 75%, 21% West Virginia. And I have this bet down, so I'm in. I'm on West Virginia. But if you're tailing, just know you're on the heavy public side here. Like no question, everyone's bet on West Virginia. Which I'm in.
Sorry, I hate to keep bringing up the website too, but that intrigues me too that the under 63.5 because we have 56 as the total.
It
so
doesn't. It seemed high to me.
Yeah.
Well, when I first looked at it, when I was looking at the game, I was like, "Ooh, I want to go over," expecting to see like a 55. Then I looked, and when I looked, it was 60.5, and I was like,
Maybe
"Oh, hell
Maybe
no!"
I'll go under too in this.
Yeah, I mean, based on what we've seen, I understand why they're taking action on the over. Both teams have been like, you would think that no one's making a stop, but Andy's right. I mean, West Virginia's going to be running the football. The clock's going to be running, so I would lean under at 63.5 also, just because the number's crazy.
Kenny Pickett playing? No.
All right, last game.
Under.
Apple. I know what I want to bet, but I feel like I've heard several people say the other side. I think a lot of people like Washington State here. I don't.
like Washington.
Really?
Oh, you like the Huskies?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's where I'm leaning too. I mean, Washington State money line was my top bet against Texas Tech last week. That was my top bet of the week. I loved it. They came through. That being said, if you watch the game, that defense didn't look that good. The Texas Tech continuously shot themselves in the foot in that game. I'm not saying we should have lost or anything. I'm just saying final score isn't exactly indicative of how that game went. And Washington looks weirdly good. I guess Jedfish truly is magical, Andy. I tried telling you that about Arizona. I said they lost Jed Magic. Jed Magic, man. What happened? The Mets just tied it in the ninth inning.
Let's go.
With a home run. Grimace.
Nice.
All right. So, yeah, I'm leaning Washington. But, Scoop, you sound like you're in. So why don't you go first? You sound like you're more confident than I am.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a fun one. I don't think we talked about Washington yet because they played Weber State in Eastern Michigan. But, I mean, if you look at their season numbers, they're a bit skewed because of that. But Will Rogers still has a 78% completion percentage. He looked really great again. I know the competition's not there, but as good as Washington State's looked, I'm leaning Washington because, I mean, Washington State won by 21 last week, but they still got outgained by 100 yards. They only had 9 completions since Mateer turned into a run-first quarterback, apparently. I know Washington's basically a new team with everyone leaving, but Fishes look fine. Their defense still hasn't given up a run or passing touchdown. Washington State's defense also fine, but Will Rogers should be able to find holes in their secondary. I don't like Washington State's secondary at all. So, and this team did just give up 10 for 19 on third down last week to Texas Tech. So Mateer's going to have to throw the ball in this one, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to. Plus, personally, I like Washington's offensive and defensive lines better here. So I wish it was at Washington. It's at a neutral site, but I would still lean Washington here. I don't think Washington State's going to have enough offense to keep up with Washington, personally.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. So, like I said, Washington State money line was my top bet last week. They won 37-16. So you're thinking, oh, you won that easy. Yeah, according to the score. Texas Tech had 491 yards. Like the whole time, I remember thinking, like watching it, thinking, like, I can't believe I'm up 10 right now. I can't believe I'm up 17 right now. Like that's so I think it's a perfect sell high spot on Washington State personally. Grissom?
Yeah, I'm in unison there with Washington. We made it 11 points on our website, which does still take into effect last season. Washington was really good if you didn't pay attention to college football. But, I mean, this is basically a home game for Washington, playing at Lumen Field where the Seahawks play. Campus is 10 minutes down the road, and Pullman, I don't even know where in Washington that is, but I know it's a lot further than Seattle. So I think the Huskies, Jed Fish is really good. He's a great coach. Won a lot of money on him in Arizona last year. Will Rogers transferred from Mississippi State. He looks good in this offense. So I know that the competition level hasn't been there, but this is a time to prove it. I think the Huskies are the only way to go.
Yeah, so 3 of us on Washington. Someone asked, please do Memphis, Florida State. We did that one yesterday, and there's a video up. I handicapped the entire game, so if you want to check that out, I already have
So
that.
somebody else said something UCF.
Yeah, people have been asking for that game all day.
Yeah.
We have that one scheduled for tomorrow, so I'm not ready to talk about it yet. But Andy, are we sweeping?
Yeah, we are actually.
Wow.
I give Steve Belichick some credit. This defense has played really good for Washington, and obviously they've played a pile of shit, but they've been really good on the field. They're 21st in DFEI, so I thought that was pretty cool. That adjusts based on who you play too, so they must be playing like perfect football. And obviously, I thought that Will Rogers was a match made in heaven for Jed Fish because he just wants to throw the ball. That's what he did with Fafita last year, and it's working perfectly. He's got 10.5 yards per attempt. So, like Scoop said, Can Washington State outthrow Washington? I highly doubt it. So I'm gonna sit with Washington here. I think this one's more comfortable because both teams, both rivalries are going on. The Oregon State game, everybody's talking about, oh, Oregon State's going to come in all hyped, obviously. So is Washington State, but I think Washington also has a chip on their shoulder because this is a complete different team. Everybody just expects them to be worse than they were last year. But I just think that they've taken that and they've run with it. So I think this is a really good Washington spot.
Also, this is a 2-week out look-ahead spot for Washington. Biggest game of the year in Piscataway, 2 weeks. We're in New Jersey here, so we're Rutgers people.
Rutgers stand up.
Oh, yeah, we're 2 weeks away. Washington takes the L in Piscataway.
Rutgers has
This is
a
the
big
year
one,
of
I
the
think,
RU.
Next week's Rutgers, Virginia Tech. That's a good game.
Easy win. All right. So, yeah, that's it. We'll be back same time tomorrow.
We have an NFL underdog that we have to get out.
Do the underdog pick. And also clear out the make sure you guys give Grissom a follow. It's Grissom on X. It's right on the screen there. Appreciate him coming on. And, yeah, we got an underdog pick 'em. Did Andy do this one?
No, I made this one. It's a 2-piece.
Oh, it's an NFL one. Okay.
This is a Beaver special. It's called Fading Rashad White. I love doing it. How this guy is still a starting NFL running back's beyond me. So lower than 48.5 rushing yards. Bucky Irving will be the starter soon. So we're going to take advantage of that now. He's facing a Detroit Lions rush defense that's stout. And they may be getting DJ Reader into the fold this week. So could be even tougher for him. Anticipate the Lions having a big lead as well. So really like that one. On top of that, we're getting Jameson Williams. Higher than 44.5 receiving yards. J-Mo was running big boy routes last week, and he looked damn good. Really susceptible Buccaneers secondary this week. Think he goes higher than 44.5 receiving yards there as well. That is a 2-piece to win 3 times your whatever you put into there. And then on top of that, we got free picks. The CD Lamb one is for old customers, so that's cool. Even if you're an existing customer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got a free pick. CD Lamb over 0.5 total yards, so you could use that this Sunday. And then if you're a new customer, we got Josh Allen over half total yards if you sign up using our promo code BET.
B-E-T.
B-E-T, BET.
Yep. So, yeah, if you don't have an Underdog Fantasy account, use the promo code BET. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Make sure you give Grissom a follow. I'm sure you already follow the other guys, but Scoop and Andy are on Twitter also if you don't follow them. But thanks, everyone, for watching. Back tomorrow, same time. Who are you and you're taking for Survivor pick this week? Man, I'm out. Bengals.
No one, I'm out. Bengals.
I'm done already.